Welcome everybody to the cross-country exchange meeting, Seed Suppliers Perspectives on Reaching 100% Organic Seed Use by 2037. Today we have a long list of presentations and presenters. I'm very happy that we also have Patricia Piton from DG AGRI here today, from the European Commission, and 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐵 González from EuroSeeds to present their perspectives from the policy and industry side. And also we will dive into the crops from the different countries and the different crop types. And we tried to select a variety of crops and varieties of hectares where they are either, let's say, a bit more easy to multiply under organic conditions, or some are quite difficult to be multiplied under organic conditions. And therefore, we are very interested to hear about their perspective on reaching 100% organic seed. We will start with Caroline Formand from IFOAM, and she will give a very brief introduction to the LiveSeeding project and the agenda today. Or I will present the agenda. She will give an introduction into the LiveSeeding project. Then Tove Marie Pedersen from the Danish Innovation Center for Organic Farming will present a bit the regulative aspect. I will give a sneak preview into the data collection we started in LiveSeeding, and Kaya will give some information on new features that will be implemented in the European database. And then we will have the perspectives of Patricia and César on the policy and industry. And then we have 6 presentations from the different crops, from the different seed supplier. And then at the end, we have the discussion. So Caroline, if you would like to start.
Yes, thank you, and good morning, everyone. So, as Freya said, I will have a very brief introduction of LiveSeeding, because I think that most of you already know what this project is about, which is a European project that gathers several actors to work on increasing the use and production of organic seed. And in the project, we always use this concept, the push-pull-enable concept, which I will present a bit more into details. So this project is the idea that to achieve this transition to a more sustainable seed system and food system, we need to have all actors working together. So actors from the push side, which are the actors that are working on increasing the availability of seed, but also the quality of seeds. So these are breeders, but also farmers, farm organization. Then we also need at the same time actors from the pool side to act. So that means that the demand for organic seeds must increase. So this can include also farmer, but also citizens. And finally, for all of this to happen, we need to have a system that makes it possible and easier. So that's all the policy and regulatory framework. So this is the enable side. So here we would have the market, but also, of course, national authorities. We would have the European institutions and all those organizations. So this is important right now, because at the end of the session, we want to have a survey to know a bit the different perspective on how to reach the goal of 100% of organic seeds by 2036. And it would be nice if you could already think about where you are. Are you from the push, pull, or enable side? So that at the end of the session, we can see a bit which side think what measure it's important. And that's it from my side. I hope it was clear. And I now give the floor to, I think it's Freya or Tove.
It's Tove, yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And good morning. It's very nice to see so many of you joining today to discuss these important issues on organic seed. As Freya mentioned, my name is Tove Marie Pedersen, and I work at the Innovation Center for Organic Farming in Denmark. And today I represent a national project on organic seed issues in organic vegetable production. And we're very keen to promote this cross-country exchange, as our experience is that it's some challenges we face that reach beyond national borders. So we find this very important. Kaya, will you switch to next slide? Yeah, in the next 10 minutes, I'll give just a very brief overview of the regulatory framework that affects organic seed systems in the EU, including the organic regulation and the 2 proposals on plant reproductive material and new genomic techniques. I'll try to focus on the implications for the organic seed sector and look at both opportunities and challenges. Yeah, next slide, please. So first, the European Union has set a very ambitious target, at least 25% of EU's agricultural land under organic farming by 2030. And as you see in the figure in the slide here, in 33, the share was around 11% and increasing, with quite big differences between countries, both in the farmland and market share. But with the current increase rate, it's maybe more realistic to end around 17%. But anyway, there is a continuous increase in both farmland and market share, and this will lead to an increase in demand for organic seed. And to support the transition, the EU Organic Action Plan was launched in 2021. And it has a focus in some main areas of stimulating demand for organic products and supporting farmers' transition to organic and strengthening research and innovation. Next slide, please. So the organic regulation from 2018 that entered fully into force in 2022 introduced 2 categories of organic reproductive material that are relevant for the organic sector, and the 2 categories were organic varieties with the possibility of adapted testing protocols, organic varieties that should be bred under organic condition and adapted for organic production. And the other type was organic heterogeneous material, which allows for more genetically diverse material and populations to be placed in the market. And the organic regulation also states that this organic plant reproductive material should be listed in organic seed databases. And it also includes the system of derogations or a temporary possibility to use non-organic seed when organic seed is not available. To monitor this progress in organic seed use, the member states should provide annual reports on derogations, which are important for transparency and also to identify gaps in supply. But Kaya, she will talk more about this and the category 1 crops in her presentation. Next slide, please, Kaya. Yeah, so just briefly, the timeline in the organic regulation to phase out the derogations. In December 29, the Commission should report to the Parliament and Council on the availability of organic plant reproductive material and the possibility and the possible reasons for limited availability or supply. And in January 29, the Commission may adopt the delegated acts to either prolong the derogations beyond 36 or to end them earlier. And there are some species with bigger challenges than others in order to reach these goals. In December 36, the derogation option is set to end unless it's prolonged. And it may sound like a long time, but when the target is organic breeding and organic seed production, it's actually quite a tight schedule. It's only around 1 decade, and this is not a long time in terms of breeding. So, next slide, please, Kai. Yeah, and just briefly around the plant reproductive material proposal for some EU regulation that aims to replace the 10 directives on marketing and production of seed this potentially also have some effect on organic seed issues. Included in this proposal are some issues around DOS testing and value for cultivation and use, including sustainability parameters, conservation varieties and amateur gardeners, organic plant reproductive material and heterogeneous material, which is currently out of the proposal, seed banks and in-kind exchange between farmers, breeder seed, herbicide-resistant GMO entity, which also handled in separate regulations. So this proposal was adopted by the Parliament in April 24. And the LiveSeeding project and 𝐀𝐁𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆, the European Consortium for Organic Plant Breeding, they pointed out some key recommendations from the organic breeders' perspective in a policy brief from 24. And some of their recommendations are to maintain organic varieties and the organic heterogeneous material in the organic regulations free of patents and NGT and GMO. And the value for cultivation and use, including the sustainability parameters, should not include vegetables and fruit. And they also recommend that both conservation and amateur varieties should be available to use for farmers without the marketing restrictions and administrative burdens. It's also pointed out that in-kind seed exchange between farmers is important. But there is an ongoing process in the Council before the trilogue negotiation, and nothing is finally settled yet. And just the last slide. Yeah. Okay, so another proposal is the NGT proposal, and that will also affect organic seed system. And it's currently in the trilogue negotiations. But NGT is not supposed to be the subject of today's meeting. I just want to mention briefly how the proposal divides NGT in two categories, where category 1 in the proposal text is considered to be equivalent to conventional plants and with only light regulation, and category 2 has more complex modifications of plants with some adapted risk assessment and GMO labeling. And there are some diverging positions currently on some issues about traceability, patents, and coexistence, and the negotiations are going to continue during the autumn of 25. Neither of the two categories are to be allowed in organic farming. So for the organic seed systems, this may have some implications for upholding separate breeding programs and also limit the choice of breeding material in newly bred varieties. And there can also be some contamination and decertification issues and so on. So just to sum up, there are some very ambitious goals for organic in the EU, 25% in 2030. And the next years, especially the 26 review and the 29 delegated acts, are important for the future of organic seed. So the transition away from derogations to 2036 is both a challenge and also a very nice opportunity to accelerate the innovation and in organic breeding and seed production. And also the upcoming regulation on PRM and NGT also may affect the organic seed systems in different ways. So I think that was what I wanted to say. And I think I also used the time, Freya.
Perfect. You're very much on time. Thank you very much. Are there any questions to Tove at the moment? You can place them in the chat. We can also answer them later. So if you have any question arising, just place them in the chat and then we can answer them. Okay, next slide. Yes, maybe I didn't introduce myself. I'm Freya Schäfer, working at FiBL. I'm the coordinator of this work package in the LiveSeeding project, and I was also the coordinator of the work package on the policy and the regulation framework in the LiveSeed project. And as you can hear, some data for the year 2016, we made an inventory and an estimation on supply and demand. Of course, this data is very difficult to gather. There's more detailed data available in the link. This is the scientific publication. Maybe Tove, can you place the link into the chat? That would be great. Thank you very much. So if someone wants to see the data of LiveSeed, first estimation, we can see here for some crops the supply seems to be okay, and for some crops there's not so much supply of organic or farm-safe seed. So if the last column is the non-organic seed supply, so this is the part we would like to reduce. And we can see for the arable crops, depending on, for instance, grain maize, there is a high use, 44% of non-organic seed, while in oat or wheat, for instance, there is even less, or in barley. But if we look at the vegetables, it becomes more difficult, and for fruit and berries, it is more even difficult to produce under organic condition and to market them to the farmers and the different actors. We have in LiveSeeding conducted a comparable estimation. This data is preliminary. We need to have a further validation, and therefore we would really much like that you fill out or click on this link and enter this survey. And no, we are not on mute. Maybe you can't hear us. I'm sorry, there's a comment in the chat. So if you have a look at this data, don't take it for granted. There will be changes coming, but this is the first estimation we now got, and we can see that for some crops the supply increased, but for some crops there is even less supply in the total amount and the total share, even though we can see that there is an increase in the area for the different crops, and therefore maybe the seed supply or this organic seed supply did not increase in the same pace as the area increased, and therefore the demand or the potential demand of organic seed is increasing, but the supply of organic seed is not increasing in the same time. So yes, I think this is the situation at the moment, and we would be very happy if you could fill out this survey. It's very easy to click on that, and it takes about 5 minutes. You can select your country and you can select your crops that you're dealing with, and then you can validate the data and agree or not agree, or enter different data if you think the share of organic seed is different in your country. And be aware, it's not just the share of organic seed maybe you supply, but it's always for a whole country. So we make this inventory for all 27 member states, and Switzerland and UK is also included, I think so. Are there any questions to this at the moment? Not so far. Okay. Then we can proceed. So maybe to conclude, we can see here that there is as I said, organic seed increases, the supply increases, but not in the same pace as the organic farming area increases for all crops. And therefore, there's really a large investments and scaling up of organic seed production in the market needed. And also, on the other hand, there's a higher demand needed, a better uptake, because if supply organic seed, they want to be sure that they are able to market it. Okay, next slide, Kaya. I think this is you.
Yes. Yes, hello, my name is 𝐂𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆. I want to talk a little bit about the European supplier database for organic plant reproductive material. we are currently working on a relaunch of a set database, and with that relaunch that is scheduled for mid-January 2026, we will go live with a new logo and also a new domain, Seeds and Plants for Organic, because a huge objective of this relaunch is to make the database fit for all kinds of organic plant reproductive material. And within the LiveSeeding project, we also have been working on some features that also will go live with this relaunch. And those features have the aim of increasing the transparency on the market for organic plant reproductive material. And two of those features I want to present to you today. One of those features concerns the derogation categories. As you probably know, each country can decide themselves on national derogation categories. And according to the regulation, we distinguish between 3 different categories that reflect the availability of organic plant reproductive material. So in the case of a very high availability, the national authority can decide to put certain species or also subgroups of the species on a no derogation list. While if there's a very low availability, it can put it on a general derogation list. And in between that, there's the individual derogations to use non-organic material. This is a short paragraph of the regulation. Here, I just want to point out each country can create themselves subspecies or variety groups that they can place on this national no derogation list. And the creation of those variety groups can also be very individual to each country. They need to make this list publicly available and updated on an annual basis. However, it's still, at least when I did like a small desk research, it's still a bit difficult to find this information. So for that, in the LiveSeeding project, we decided to create a new feature that, as I said, will go live next year. And this feature concerns the overview of the different national derogation categories. So what you see here is a small sneak peek of this overview. It's really a preliminary screenshot because the designer is still working on designing it properly, but I can already show you the functions that will be available. So here you will find all the subgroups of species and their derogation category in the different countries. And automatically all the countries that use organic seeds as their national database will be displayed here, but we also want to include the other countries. So for instance, I've already included France and also Spain, and I will be in contact with the other national authorities to also include their data. And here in this case, I have filtered the list to look, for instance, at only one species, cucumber, and to look in which countries is cucumber on category 1. And then I will find here the whole list of countries that have placed category cucumber, at least with some subgroups, on category 1. You can also filter by country or also by groups of species. So you can, for instance, look at all agricultural species or all vegetable species. I have here another example. In this case, I have filtered for onions and individual derogation because here I want to show you another information that is displayed, the future derogation categories. So some countries, specifically France, has put quite some work into defining for each species when in the future it can be placed on category 1. And if this information is available, it will also be displayed here. So in this case, onion with 2 subgroups can be placed on category 1 by January 2026. The second feature that will go live next year concerns the derogation reports. As Tove already explained, the options of derogations will expire end of 2036, but the Commission has the option of publishing delegated acts regarding this deadline. But they need to do so based on information that confirms the unavailability on the union market. And this information comes from the annual reports that each member needs to publish annually. But actually also here, it's very difficult to access this information. Only some countries make it publicly available. Some countries don't. And for that, we want to create a central archive for national annual reports on the Seeds for Organic database. Again, this is a preliminary screenshot with no proper design yet, but you will find all the derogation reports and availability reports filtered by country and by year. And also here we will be in contact with all the national authorities, asking them whether they would make their information publicly available on our database so that everybody can browse through this information. And thus we hopefully have a higher transparency on the market, which is also very important to increase the amount of organic seed and other organic plant reproductive material that is available. That is it from my side, and I will hand over back to Freya.
Yes, thank you very much. I think we got some time left, so if there are any questions, please put them into the chat or raise your hand. There's one in the chat. It's just a comment that it is very nice, and it will be a lot easier to compare between the countries, and the use of this information could support the development at national level. We hope so. This is the ambition we have, and of course we really much rely on the information that is provided by the national authorities from the different members. We have access to the information to Spain and France because they publicly publish on it on the national database, on their national database or on their website. But some reports are not so easy to find, or the link is not always at the same place. So it's a bit difficult and tricky, and therefore Kaya will get in contact with the national authorities, and we really much hope that we get this information and can publish it on the website. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so then we are actually 10 minutes ahead. No problem. We have time at the end. Patricia Piton, I think I saw you as a speaker in the list.
Yeah, may you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect, because I had the big problem, unbelievable, that there is an automatic update of my laptop, and so now I am indeed linked to this session via my mobile.
Okay.
So perfect. I'm a bit in a difficult situation. So if you can show my presentation, I think it's would be the best, and I can explain indeed. Thank you very much, first of all, for this invitation, for this very interesting event. I have luckily, thanks to my mobile, I was able to listen to Tove, Freya, and Kaya presentation, very interesting and comprehensive. I see that Tove has already underlined the several important action ongoing, so I can go quickly through my presentation, because I had, in fact, you can move to the first slide. I had just in the first slide recall, in a sense, the main new elements that the regulation 2018/848 for organic, that is fully applicable from January 2022. I want to recall that indeed this regulation has introduced very important provision related to plant reproductive material. Not only provision, but as well the objectives on plant reproductive material to indeed develop the supply of genetic material suitable for organic farming, to increase the level of biodiversity in farm through the use of organic heterogeneous material, the use of organic varieties bred under organic conditions, the development in general of the organic plant breeding sector is among the objective of the regulation itself. And then we have new relevant provisions that have been also underlined by Tove, that are related to the definition of organic varieties, the specific provision on organic heterogeneous material, the detailed provision on derogation, and it was mentioned the importance of the list category 1, on which indeed I agree with you. It's not always so easy, and we are indeed asking member states to make an effort to make, because it's required by the regulation, to make this list available, public available. We have on our office system available publicly all the link to the list, but indeed we admit there are some problems sometimes to find out where the list is in the national web, also due to sometimes to the fact that the languages are different. So we are indeed asking member states continuously to try to make an effort to make this list more transparent and easy to access. As mentioned, important phase out of the derogation by December 2036. There are provisions related to the labeling that are new as well, on fodder mixture in particular, on conversion plant reproductive material. And then the extension of the scope, because indeed in the past member state had a system for the database and to support in fact the publication on availability and derogation, but they were limited to seeds, and they had to adapt the system to include also the vegetative propagating material. Now all the plant reproductive material is covered. And then indeed we had the important delegated act, the regulation supplementing on organic heterogeneous material, which has been adopted in 2021. And then we can move to the next slide, because there it's just to recall that we have all the information available on our web. We try to keep update also a summary on the secondary rules, and there in our web page is available. And we work continuously on this document on frequently asked questions to indeed address issues related to the need for clarification. And in this context, indeed, we had some quite number of questions on plant reproductive material provision that are indeed part of a specific chapter in this document. We can move to the next slide just to recall quickly the background, political background. As you know perfectly, we had the two important strategies, the farm to fork and biodiversity strategy, which had clearly objective related to organic sector, with the important objective to reach the 25% of EU agricultural land by 2030. That sure is a challenging, and despite the fact that likely they will not be easy to reach it, but in the same time we have to underline that there is a continuous progress in the sector, and as well important objective under the biodiversity strategy to take measures to facilitate the registration of seed varieties, in particular on organic, which indeed is also objective has been mentioned in the context of the new proposal for the review of the PRM legislation under the horizontal rules. On the basis of this, in fact, we have adopted the EU Organic Action Plan that was adopted in 2021 and goes up to 2027. And nowadays, recently, the Commission communication on a vision for agriculture and food shaping for the attractive farming and agri-food sector for the future generation. Again, in this communication, it is again confirmed and recognized the importance of the organic sector, where indeed the support is considered essential. And as well, there is mention for a need of simplification of the legislation. And as you know, there are already been important change with respect to the more flexibility in the conditionality and the link to the GAIC condition to be respected, which indeed for organic are considered then directly compliant. And on the same time, we are working linked to the fit for future platform, they have collected several suggestions from stakeholders on possible simplification, and we are working currently on this suggestion and recommendation to propose potential future some simplification on mainly on secondary rules. Then we can move to the next slide. I would like just quickly, the organic action plan has been structured with main areas of intervention that are related to the demand, to increase the demand, to increase the supply of products, and to indeed improve the contribution of organic to sustainability through mainly action of research and innovation, divulgation of the outcomes. And there, indeed, there is a specific objective that is related to plant reproductive material to enhance the biodiversity and increase the yields in organic farming. And we have as well available a report on the first progress. That is a report that was issued in 2020 and 2023, available on our webpage on the Organic Action Plan. Then we can move to the next slide. And indeed, to enhance the genetic biodiversity, increasing yields, we had as a main action to earmark the funding under the Horizon program, Horizon Europe, to support indeed the use of genetic resources adapted to organic sector and to increase the availability of organic seeds as a whole. And there, in this slide, in fact, I put some example. The main project that have been in these last years have been supported. That are several focus on the organic sector. Other, like InnoBread, are also working on for the organic sector, but not only. And I think these are very, very important outcomes coming from this that we are following up strictly. And then we can move to the next slide, where we have two main important calls that are going to close today, or just they've been opened up to now, and are indeed the two important related to the plant reproductive material, the breeding for resilience, and the strengthening the EU crop breeding research innovation ecosystem. And we hope that also under these two calls that were opened this year, there will be other new important projects to further develop this area. And for 2026-27, there will be soon, in December 2025, the program will be published. So I recommend to follow strictly also this future opportunity. And then for the next slide, I would like to recall the importance of having to fill the gap between the research outcomes and to divulge as much as possible to the end user. And there, luckily, we have now, in FE, under the developing a new advisory network on organic agriculture work program that was 2023-24. There has been the selection of this important project, Organic Advice Network, that indeed aim to create this EU-wide network of advisors that will promote further the creation of these advisory services, and will hopefully improve the capacity of these services to divulge the results of research and innovation for the sector. And this is indeed an important wide network that covers several plant production and as well animal production organic. And then we have for the future to stress that this is still open, the potential for a project coming bottom up on the thematic networks. And this is indeed hopefully another possibility for the project to enhance the knowledge transfer from the research area to the farmers. And then for the last slide, I think already Tove was pointing to the main action. Indeed, we have, as you know, we have ongoing the revision of the legislation on plant and forest reproductive material, and colleagues of Sante are leading, and we are obviously always informed on important relevant issues related to organic, and I cannot say more than what has been said. Indeed, the discussion is ongoing now at Council level, and the Council aim to finalize this discussion by the end of this year, so that hopefully in the next year they will start the final trilogue negotiations. And then we have the legislative proposal on plants derived from targeted mutagenesis and cisgenesis, and as well ongoing discussion at Council level. And then to recall the provision for testing organic varieties that were were adopted, the two directives in 2022 for a certain group of crops with adapted DOS criteria. Then we are currently working a follow-up on the implementation of the plant reproductive material provision with the point we have often in the, at least once or twice in the meeting of the expert group for organic production, and as well on the committee for organic production, which are the group of competent authority dealing with the organic at European level. And we have in this group on the discussion is a point in agenda of plant reproductive material, not only in terms of some thanks to also to your intervention to spread the outcome of research, but as well monitoring in terms of need for an harmonized approach in the implementation of the provision, in terms of clarification of rules, and in terms of indeed the collection of the data that we are currently, now we have a free set of data from member states on availability of organic and in conversion plant reproductive material, and on derogation. We have free set of data coming from 2022, 23, and 24. We have seen a progress in this collection, but however, member states are legally able to use their own system and report according to their system. And now we are working on this data because we are starting to work on this to be able to duly report to Parliament and Council by the end, as been said, by the end of 2026. The Commission will have to report to Council and Parliament on the availability and derogation issued up to now. And as been said by Tove, indeed, the regulation foresee that the Commission will only be able to propose a potential legislative change by 2029. So it is really already, I would say, it's a progressive monitoring, and in this to see which best action and steps should be then proposed to achieve the phase out in 2036, which is quite challenging, as been said, even if luckily we have seen several progress. But obviously we will take very much in account your work, which is fundamental, of LiveSeeding and of other projects ongoing on this sector, will be taken into account and will be reported duly in this report. So thank you for your attention, and I hope to be able to be quick again, linked to you via my laptop. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patrizia. Thank you very much. I think there are some few questions. First, there is a comment from Elfie. I think it is more referring to the previous presentation, but also to the presentation of Patrizia. About the reports to the European Commission and why there is a need to publish them or make them publicly available on this national database or this European database. I'm sorry. The point is that we wanted to, during the LiveSeed project, we wanted to make an analysis of the different derogations and categories in the different countries based on these reports. And we try to collect these reports to the links that are publicly available through the national, through the European Commission. But as mentioned, the links may be outdated or they are not, I don't know, they're changing over time. Some of the links were not working, and then we got in contact with the Commission and asked if we can receive these reports. And however, they denied, because the reports are sent from the European Commission, but they are somehow not allowed to forward them to different other people, to actors, or I don't know, seed supplier. And I think this information on the different derogations and the number of derogations and then the varieties that have been requested in the different countries is very useful information for the seed supplier and for their planning into the future. And therefore we see a high need to make them publicly available in one spot. And as this is not possible through the European Commission to receive the reports, we started this initiative through this European database. So this is the background maybe. And yes, maybe, I don't know, Kaya, you have access, or there are some are easily available, but for some it's more difficult, right?
Yes, exactly. And maybe I can add that both the derogation reports and as well as this overview of the national derogation categories, I think it can also serve as an inspiration, maybe for discussion in your expert groups, that if you see in the neighboring country a certain species is on category 1, or for a certain species there's very little derogations, that maybe it can also initiate the discussion in your expert groups to also move forward with the category 1, because actually it's the biggest incentive that we have to increase the amount of organic seed production.
Okay, thank you. I've got a book asked a question. Apko, can you maybe ask directly, because are you referring to the adapted protocols, or maybe you can explain your question a bit more?
Thank you. I'm referring to one of the last slides of Patricia, in which she announced new provisions for testing organic varieties. I think it has to do, maybe it has to do with the question of Gebhardt also. What will be the procedure for new crop varieties, to organic varieties, to implement them into the regulation? So that's my question.
Patricia, can you answer to that? You're muted.
Yes, indeed, I was just referring to the two directives which have been adopted in 2022 that allow for a flexible criteria on DOS, and are indeed concerning only barley, maize, rye, wheat, carrot, kohlrabi. And these two directives indeed are is DG Sante leading for this horizontal legislation, which indeed I think have not up to now, also for the discussion with member states, have been implemented, but not fully, in the sense that, from my understanding, the fact is that the report to Sante on this work is still limited. So. But seems in the same time that some member states have also interest for future to broaden the scope and add other species. So this is something under discussion. And this is with respect to the current legislative frame, because for the future I cannot tell you more than what is in the proposal itself from the colleague of Sante, as everything is currently under negotiation with the Council and Parliament. So it's really, and as well as not my direct responsibility are the colleague of DG Sante that are currently following strictly these negotiations.
Okay, thank you. Does it answer your question, Abko?
Well, not really, but I'm afraid Patricia cannot give a more clear answer than she did just right now. So, okay.
Yes. Yeah, maybe we need to give this question to DG Sante. Okay, as the time is progressing, I would continue with the program. César González from EuroSeeds.
Hello. So I have a presentation.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much for joining, César. I think, I don't know if this is already publicly available. EuroSeed was working on a paper on the derogation regimes and towards phasing out non-organic seed. Maybe you can tell us more about that today.
Very good. Thanks for the invitation. I will try to briefly present our recent paper. I mean, this is our position for quite a long time, but we now see the opportunity to actually have an impact on any derogations. So, first of all, who are we? So EuroSeeds is the single voice of the European seed industry, and we represent plant breeders and seed producers across Europe. So we as an association are very active at European level towards institutions, and we work on all seed-related issues. And among those, as you can see here, we are also working on organics. So we have a dedicated working group for organics. Our members actually cover the EU. We have two types of members, if I may say so, national associations and direct companies. So for the national associations, we are a bit beyond what is the EU. So it includes countries like UK, Switzerland, Ukraine, Turkey, Serbia, and a few others. And for the companies, we have a very varied range of membership. So going directly to the issue of derogations and our response to that. So what we can see, it's a very diverse landscape across the EU on the use of derogations, depending on member states, type of crops, type of segments within those crops, or the type of product you're putting on the market, and therefore the varieties you need for those. And this can be from almost 100% use of organic seed in some species, or in some even some varieties, or in some segments, to almost 0% in some others. So that is quite a challenge. In some cases, we see a functional system, in some others don't. And the core element here is the derogations. So from our point of view, and I think that was the spirit back 2 years ago, or if I may say so, previous revisions of the legislation, derogations were a temporary measure that has been carried on over the years. And because of that, over years, this measure has led to inconsistencies in the organic market. On the one hand, due to lack of incentives probably for farmers to make use of organically certified seeds. On the other hand, lack of certainty for the long-term investments that the industry requires to provide those seeds. And the last one, and it's often forgotten, there is a lack of reward from the market for the use of organic seed. So at the end of the day, there is an unfair competition, if I may say so, because the price or the cost of the final product will not take into account the use or not of organic seed. So we believe that the commitment to end the derogations by 2036 is a huge and very important milestone in the legislation, and we want to actually engage in this discussion because we see this as the way forward. So in order to reach that goal, we have created some guiding principles that are divided into 3 axes. I will go one by one, but probably the main important thing here is this is not rocket science. You will see that many of the proposals that we put forward are based on the same issues or the same disruptions that we have already heard from previous speakers. So I think there is broad consensus on what is not correct and what could be done, and we probably need this political will to end the derogations. So the first one is the gradual phasing out of the derogations. Ideally for us, a clear cut would be the best solution, but we do not see it feasible at this point in time, so we probably prefer a phased approach by individual member states. And therefore, how can we help to reach that point? So we believe that it's key to set intermediate targets. Otherwise, there won't be a clear, let's say, way to control if we are going in the right direction or not. This should be market driven. As I said, in some cases, it can be easily achieved. So end of the derogations could be done now. In some others, it's not that easy. So probably this is an important element to take into account. And then we might also work on the regionalization or including certain crop segments, which de facto reflect this market-driven approach. That has already been mentioned. We believe it is very important to have member states coordination, and that can only be ensured by the Commission. And I think that is key, because what we have seen so far for an industry that works across Europe is that every member state is going by their own, and there is little harmonization or little coordination among them. And the third element here is clearly tracking progress, which relates to the immediate targets and with the reporting. But reporting will show up in different parts of the presentation, and it has shown up in different interventions already. The use of the database, which we consider to be a good tool, needs to improve. And therefore, we also believe that there should be a European router database for organic seed. And in that case, we believe it's the best option to make use of existing tools. And here, organic seeds, it's one of them. And I think it's a good tool to take into account and to make use of. So that will require, again, some political will, but I think it can be done. Linked to that, and that was an old discussion, the maintenance of this router database, from our point of view, it should be managed and maintained at European level, and that requires stepping in from the Commission. So that, again, we should revise that discussion. And then improving collaboration among neighboring member states. In some cases, if you have similar production conditions in neighboring countries, we believe it could be a good tool to check availability of organic seed in those countries. As I said, we are working at European level, and farmers in many cases as well, so they know how to do it. So that could also help reducing the use of derogations. Therefore, whether it's in a European router database or it's in national databases, there could be possible links to other national databases. In this transition, farmers will need support, at least those who are not using let's say, organic PRM right now. So on the one hand, there is a need for education and training because farmers need to be informed about the benefits of using organic seed according to the organic principles. Then, sorry, I did hear a mistake. We believe that advisory services and technical assistance is key. The CAP through the AGRI is an important tool to be in contact with farmers and raise awareness of this. That is, from our point of view, one of the few things that can be done easily and that we have ready to deploy tools at hand. And then the financial support mechanisms through mainly CAP, and maybe to link the organic subsidies to within the CAP to use organic PRM. So that are tools within the CAP that can be explored to improve the transition for farmers in order to create this demand and this, let's say, certainty for seed suppliers to engage. From the point of view of the seed supply chain, there needs to be certain incentives. As I said, we believe this is a market-driven request. If there is no demand, there won't be supply, and therefore this is an important one. So on the one hand, seed production is very important, and inorganic might be riskier than for conventional seeds. So incentivizing organic seed production at member state level, and we are not thinking about financial incentives, but usually seed production takes place in very specific areas where you actually have lower pest infestations, etc. So helping companies to make use of this type of area, it's an important one. Collaboration and partnership, please involve the industry as much as possible in the finding the solutions or joining the discussions. So fostering collaboration between the public and the private sector, it's very important, and probably breeders and seed producers will have a very valuable information to to explain what are the crops in which the production of organic PRM is more challenging. And then sharing data with the private sector and making it transparent, we believe it's a key element. And the last part, it's promoting consumer awareness, in this case, farmers. And from our point of view here, authorities and certifiers, which are in close contact and regular contact with farmers, it's also key. So there we could make use of the opportunity of this enhanced, let's say, collaboration between certifiers and farmers to raise awareness of the importance of organic seeds in order to end the derogations by 2036, and maybe also promotion activities. So those are the 5 axes. The document is available online. I might not have included the link, but I can share the link to the document afterwards. Okay. And then I have a final consideration for this discussion, not to mention organic varieties or whatever, but in light of what is being discussed currently at European level. So reporting on the derogations is key. We believe that it gives a very valuable information, but indeed the reporting is costly. So it has to be practical, both for professional operators and for the national authorities. It has to be consistent. It has been mentioned already, the reports from member states, in some cases, report different things and in different ways. So it needs certain consistency. It has to serve the broader picture. So a report on a yearly basis doesn't say much. It's important to see the trend. And it has to be made publicly available. No, and easily available, as we have heard already. Probably, and the best would be EU-wide and with several years trend. And it has to result in concrete actions to end the derogations. What I'm highlighting here is the report from the UK. From all I have seen, this is one of the best ones. It's easy. It's not that I like the trend, because if you see the trend for the regulations, it's increasing. But at least you can see the trend. You can see the crops, and you have a bit more a better idea of what can you do. However, as I said, in the light of the times, think about how much administrative burden would national authorities and professional operators both avoid if there were no derogations. So we have now this discussion about simplification. Here is a clear opportunity to simplify. So probably we would like to grasp that opportunity as well, and that might help also in the next steps towards 2036. And with that, I finish my presentation. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Everyone is looking forward to get rid of this derogation system. I think so, because it's it takes a lot of administrative burden. Thank you very much for your presentation. I think there's not so much time for a question at the moment. We will take your presentation or discussion at the end of this event today, because we would like to continue with the perspectives of the stakeholders. We will start with Vincent 𝐂𝐕𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆. I hope I pronounce it correctly. He will present organic oat production in France. Vincent?
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for the invitation. I am going to share my screen. I hope it will be okay for you. Is it okay? If not, please tell me.
Yeah, you just need to make the presenter mode, because at the moment we can see the...
And now is it?
No, not yet.
For me, it's okay. How to do that?
At the bottom, like close to the Zoom, there you can click on something that will make it bigger, I think.
Is it okay? Now?
We don't see it, but I think we can still read, so I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You can continue.
Thank you.
Okay. So I am Vincent 𝐂𝐕𝐄𝐃𝐈𝍍𝐆, and I am a farmer in France. And I am very happy to be here with you and to exchange about seeds in Europe. And I am going to try to present you some stuff about organic oats in France. First, who are we? So I am a farmer in Burgundy, and I am very engaged in a cooperative, so organic cooperative, which name is 𝐂𝐁𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆. 𝐂𝐁𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐵 was the first organic cooperative which was founded in 1983 in France. It's about arable crops, so cereals and legumes. We are today 200 farmers, so we are small and we stay small. And in order to be actor for organic global network, we made a lot of collaboration and partnerships. So we have founded 2 unions of cooperative. The first one is Union Biosemence. So I am today the president of Union Biosemence. It's a partnership with another organic cooperative. You can see on the map, the green area is Bioser and the orange area is 𝐂𝐁𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆, my cooperative. So the aim of Union Biosemence is to multiply and to...
Sorry, Vincent, we don't see the right slide.
I'm sorry.
Maybe, do you have two screens? Maybe you are sharing the wrong
Yes,
wrong
I am
screen.
two screen. Yes, I have two.
So I think you are sharing the wrong screen. Now we can see that the slide is changing.
Okay, maybe if I stop the second one. Okay, sorry. Is it okay now for you? Is it okay?
Maybe try to change the slide so that we can see. No,
sorry.
maybe you need to do it from the start as well, like to stop sharing and then share the other computer.
Okay, sorry for this technical problem. I don't know how to do.
On the top, you should be able to stop share. Yes, exactly.
Yes, I stopped. And now. And I. Oh, what's the problem? Yo. And I lost my presentation now. So sorry.
No problem.
No
Take your
worries.
time.
Okay. So now maybe it's better.
If you want, you can also send us by email and then we can share it for you if that's easier.
I think we are going to do that because I lost all my stuff.
Okay. Maybe if we while we solve the technical problem, because we are running a bit late, Federica, are you able to start your presentation maybe a bit earlier?
Okay.
Thank you very much, Federica.
No problem.
Sorry.
You can see the presentation?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. I'm Federica 𝐂𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆. I'm an organic cereal breeder from Italy, and I collaborate with the Montebello Cooperative in developing an organic seeds supply chain for cereal. And the Montebello Girolomoni Cooperative was founded in 1971 from Gino Girolomoni, one of the pioneers of organic farming in Italy. The cooperative is based in Isola del Piano in Marche region, so in central Italy, this blue point. In reality, we are two cooperatives working together. The first one is the Montebello Agrobiological Cooperative, a 100% organic cooperative of about 450 farms, of which 260 are full members and the rest are under contract. And together they cultivate around 30,000 hectares. And the cooperative has also 9 storage centers for grain. The other one is the cooperative Gino Girolomoni. This cooperative has the goal to produce pasta, to mainly produce pasta, and take care about the commercialization and marketing of the pasta. And both the cooperative are 100% organic, and our mission is to combine organic farming and cooperation as a strategy for building sustainable food chain, supply chain. From the very beginning, the cooperative has been very sensitive to the issue of seeds. It has always recognized the importance of seed choice and variety choice, not only for increasing the productivity of the farmers, but also for sustainability, for coherence with the organic system, and for distinctiveness on the market. And that's why in 2016, the cooperative decided with other actors of the Italian organic sector to found a foundation with the goal of select variety for organic agriculture, especially for durum wheat. And thanks to this effort, we was able to register a first variety. The name was 𝐀𝐁𝐿𝐈𝐄. And starting from that point, we should start to think about the multiplication of the seeds. Our first idea was to get in contact with seeds company around the cooperative in order to establish some collaboration, but was very difficult to find seeds company that has the same vision than us, because our idea was to build up a completely organic process of multiplication of the seeds, while for the seeds company was too risky, and so they wanted to go on with multiplying the seeds only 1 year in organic and then certify the seeds. And for this reason, we decided to bring this expertise of organic seeds multiplication inside the cooperative, and here we are to try to do to build up this project. So the Montebello, the Cooperativa Montebello, is not a seeds company. So anyway, collaborate with external seeds company for the cleaning and for the certification of the seeds. But however, we play a central role in selecting the most suitable farms for multiplication, both in terms of environmental condition, but also in terms of farmers' motivation and commitment. We provide technical support during all the crop cycle with our agronomist, with a field visit and crop monitoring, and also support in checking the seeds diseases mainly. And we are the one that organize the logistic of the seeds from the farm to the seed company, so that they can clean and certify the seeds. And then we take the seeds back to be used by our farms. And the Montebello Cooperative really believe in the importance to use organic certified seeds, and that's why they encourage the use. They pay a small premium to their farmers that use organic certified seeds. In addition to 𝐀𝐁𝐿𝐈𝐄, then we was able also to register another variety that is Prossimo, that is it is also in the process of the multiplication. Every year the soil destined to the multiplication of the seeds is increasing, but still limited compared to the needs of the supply chain. Which are the challenges that we are facing? The first challenge was to involve and sensitize farmers, so making them aware of agronomic practices, the best agronomic practices to be used in organic multiplication process, what to observe in the field, and what precaution to take so which precaution to take, but without discouraging them. And because of course the risks are higher respect to conventional seeds multiplication, so we have to find an equilibrium with them. Another challenge is the market price. Our seeds, the price of our seeds are more expensive with respect to the one with the one with derogation, or that are multiplied just 1 year in organic. And the other challenge is the logistic. It's also a big issue. There are a few seed company around the cooperative with which we can collaborate, and so sometimes the transport becomes very expensive, and of course this has an impact on the price of the seeds. Another problem that we face is when the seeds company doesn't have two lines for organic seeds and conventional seeds. This means that sometimes, of course, they decided to start with conventional cleaning seeds. So they should first finish the cleaning of the conventional one so that they can clean all the machine and start with the organic one. And this means that organic seeds sometimes return to our farmers too late and creating dissatisfaction. And another problem is the bureaucracy. So in Italy also we have this system, the traffic light system, where when a crop is in the red light, you can't ask for a derogation. But sometimes anyway, at the end, the derogation is applied, and so this creates the chaos and confusion, and make it difficult to plan seed production. So what could improve based on our experience? Where we think we have to improve? Of course, we have to try to reduce the cost of the process of the multiplication in order to be more competitive on the market. We believe that we need a continuous investment in breeding for organic, because if we can offer variety that are more stable, more productive, and more reliable, we believe that farmers will be more motivated to buy certified organic seeds. At policy level, I think we think that incentives could support this process. For example, in Italy, farmers can have a support payment if they use certified seeds, or in conventional, I mean. And so maybe in organic, if we add certified seeds, but also certified organic seeds, could be supportive in using organic seeds. And finally, we need to better involve the value chain in planning seed production, because farmers alone often cannot decide. So a collective supply chain approach could work better in our eyes. So involve the value chain in make the program could be supportive. So in conclusion, we are working to develop a 100% organic seed production chain in order to increase availability of organic seeds, and to support in this topic, in this goal of eliminate derogation by 2036. So thank you for the opportunity to speak about our experience, and I think this could be very useful also for us to listen about what is going on in other countries and profit about experience of other reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Federica. Very nice presentation. Thank you very much, and very much on time. I would say we keep the questions for the end, because we need to go ahead a bit. I think we have some time at the end for the discussion. Vincent? My colleagues, could you clarify about the presentation?
I sent you my presentation. Is it okay? Or can
someone share the presentation?
You send it to Freya, maybe only?
To me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Not a trouble. I didn't check my emails. I'm sorry. So maybe we can continue with Stefan Döblin. Can you share your slides, or shall we share your slides, because your slides are here?
If you can share the slides, would be fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Vincent, we will share your slides in a minute. I need to check my email. Sorry.
I cannot see the slides, but maybe you.
No, they were there, and then were they gone? Kaya, can you try it again?
Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much. My name is Stefan Döblin, one of the founders of 𝐶𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐒𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆. Originally, we planned that Micha, my colleague, is doing this presentation, but he has some urgency in the company, so he asked me to continue, but the slides are gone again.
We will solve the problem.
Sorry, I guess the full screen mode doesn't work with the.
It's a PDF. So far, you should only slides.
Okay, but then I keep them in this mode.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Can you continue? We founded 2015, so quite young compared to other seed companies. We are Demeter certified, 100% organic. Focus is vegetable, herbs, flowers, and legumes. These are our topics. We're doing also our own research, and but mainly our main focus is seed multiplication in these different crops. Next slide, please. We are, by the way, this is our vision, mission, values, proposal. For us, is clear: no GMO and GT free. Our focus is regenerative, organic, biodynamic seeds. We're doing also a lot of biodynamic research. So far, it's not only organic. Focus originally was our multiplication is happening in the Mediterranean countries, mainly Portugal, Spain, bit France, and Morocco, Turkey, and Egypt. But we have one exception. We're also multiplying seeds in Poland by chance. Quality is a serious issue. To convince farmers, we have to increase the quality level. We have reached some good qualities, but not in all crops. So we are selling also a lot of crops in the hobby market. Next slide, please. Yeah. What's for us important is really to cooperate, as a cooperation with other seed companies, with farmers, with R&D centers. That's our main philosophy. We don't believe that we can make it alone, so cooperation is a very important topic. Next slide, please. Yeah, what we're doing, as we are participate LiveSeeding, we were in LiveSeed, but we are also a member of Good Agroecology, of Harvest and 𝐂𝐁𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐃. These are also EU projects. Partly 𝐂𝐁𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐃 was an EU project in Portugal specifically. We have reached 7 registrations in the national catalog. 2 OHM are notified, which we are quite happy with it. And yeah, we're working also with a non-profit organization, Leben des Samen, together. Broad beans, peas, lentils are done there. We're working on tomatoes since the beginning 2016, first project. Tomatoes is one of the important crops in the Mediterranean, as you can imagine, but not only there, probably also in Central Europe and everywhere. And one important topic is salt-tolerant plants, where we are working on. Next slide, please. So what are the challenges we see? When we started the company in 2015, there was no organic production at all in southern Europe, and also for vegetables and legumes and herbs and flowers. So it's very difficult to get the right economies of scale, because seed production costs are depending on that. So we are still, I would say, not in the level where the costs are reasonable. So it's still too expensive. But we hope through corporations that we can fulfill over time the economies of scale. Our main competitors are the conventional seed companies, as you can imagine. And it's very hard to convince farmers, even organic farmers, to move away from conventional seeds to organic. and it takes a long time. We're doing this with a lot of memberships of association like the Demeter organization in Portugal and others, to convince farmers and to motivate farmers to help in a joint program to improve the seeds. So far, plant breeding is absolutely essential. Training is very essential. Training also farmers how to use the seeds and how to improve their farming. Education is important. To be working with schools together, in several schools also that to introduce breeding versus multiplication, seeds, and so on into the schools, that people becoming more awareness what's all about. Yeah, then maybe next slide. So what are the problems or challenges we're facing? That is definitely I would say the derogation handling is not uniform. It's definitely not uniform. So you have different situations in Portugal than, for instance, in the Netherlands. We can compare this quite well. And it's also completely depending who just is in charge, as which person is in charge of the derogation in the authorities. We had we had a very good person a long time, and then it works quite well, and suddenly the person skipped the job, and we have a problem now. It's not anymore focused, not forced anymore, and so on. So this is the first problem. Second problem we see it's we would like to understand better why a derogation is given to a farmer, because we see the crop, but we don't see why it's given. Yeah, so which are the characteristics that they pushing that the farmer wants. Otherwise, if you don't see that, it's very difficult to understand what we have to develop. You know, that's why I think this should be something maybe on a European level to make more happen. Then it's also very strange sometimes. Also, farmers they try really hard to get a derogation, and so they are quite creative in this point, which is not always in our favor. But that's why we try to keep an eye on and to contact these people and to help, and also to ask how maybe we can collaborate on a better level. But it's very often so that they're looking so long until they find the variety which is not on stock to get the derogation, or they're changing suddenly, and there's a lot of tricks going on, which I understand, and on the one side, but on the other side, that's also not supportive, because I don't think we can develop enough organic seeds without the farmers. So we need a collaboration agreement, or we need a collaboration to let it happen. Yeah, that's why in the value chain just mentioned before in the presentation before is absolutely crucial, because farmers producing mainly what the retail is asking for, or processors asking for. So we try to work closely with retail and also with food processors to bring them together. You know, we have also now quite a nice one with the juice company Völkel in Germany, with tomatoes. So we're producing tomatoes from organic seeds to juice in Portugal, the full value chain. And it was also not easy to find the Demeter farmers to accept open pollinated seeds. You know, some farmers said, "Oh, an open pollinated seeds is too difficult. We don't want that." But on the other side, we have now. This is also a picture here. This is a photo of a variety at the moment we're developing, which is working with 40 degrees in summer without irrigation. So it's quite a challenge, but it's a very interesting project, and we hope that it goes to fulfillment. All right, I think that's my last, the second last. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Stefan, for this very short but very nice and yeah, a nice introduction to your work. I think we have time for 1 or 2 questions, or we take them until the end. If there is a question coming up at the moment, we can pick 1 or 2, but otherwise we can continue.
I assume that the presentations are spread around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's also a recording. We share the slides and the recording to everyone, also those who have registered but are not here at the moment. Okay, so I've realized that I missed up the agenda totally because I missed DLF from Denmark, but I think we will go back now to France once again, and I hope we can share the slides. Kaya,
I hope so. Sorry. Yes, okay.
Your
PDF is better. So the next slide, please. So I just mentioned before that I am farmer engaged for organic food network, and in being part of a cooperative, it's very essential. And because we are small, we decided to make cooperation in our life, and we founded 2 union of cooperative, Union Biosemence, which supply seeds for organic farmers. We get 60 varieties in our catalog on 70 species, and the species are mainly cereals and legumes, but we are also working on services, plant for agronomical, for example, cover cropping. Then there is another there is another union which is responsible of the commercialization of our products, which name is FiBL, and we sell 70,000 tons of organic products per year. And the final project of coordination with other actors is 𝐀𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐃, which is a factory which transforms oats from dehulling to flakes. And in the scheme, you can see all the actors of the food chain, and all the actors are engaged in 𝐀𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐄. So for us as a farmer, it's a way to minimize the risk in order to develop new food chain, and particularly on oats. Next, please. Just few data for organic oat in France. You can see there is an increasing of production of oat in France from the last 7 years. And so the harvest of 2025 is the best. And for example, for cooperative 𝐂𝐁𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆, it's the first time that oat will be better in volume than wheat. And you can see also that there is some difficulties, and particularly due to the climate. In 2024, there is a lack of production because of the condition were too humid. For the market now, almost 5% of the oat is going to the seeds certified. 20% are going for feeding animals. 60% are going for national dehullers and flakers for human beings. And there is a little bit exports also. Just to know that FiBL is representing 40% of the French market, which is quite high. Please forward. Thank you. Now the seed. So the main point for the seed, it's very important, which is in organic for many reasons. For the first reason, as a farmer, I need to crop. I get a lot of crop in the farm, so we need to supply a lot of diversity, variety, species with high agronomic and economic interest. And for example, for me, the seed is the only input in my farm. So we have to improve in order to be performant. Of course, seeds are conditioned to ensure outlets, and that's why we founded Union Biosemence. It was to guarantee the quality of our seeds and also to find technological value for customers. Sorry. And today we know that we are facing uncertainties, and particularly due to climate change. And we know that seeds is a factor of adaptation. Next, please. That into detail, we are not just to have an overview that today organic breeding is largely minoritaire. In France, for example, our catalog in Union Biosemence, we get only 10% of our seeds which are coming from 100 organic breeding. And so, for example, there is a lack of supply in oats because only 8 varieties represent 75% of oat surface in France. That's conventional also. And in organic, we get 3 or 4 varieties which are available, and we are not. It's not possible for us to find 100 organic breeding on oats until now. So next, I think it's very important if we are projecting to the end of derogation is to begin now, because we need to time in order to get organic varieties. So Union Biosemence, we try to contribute to organic breeding in 2 ways. The first way is to be very to have many relation with organic breeders or non-organic breeders, but who has very sensitive too. And we are testing the variety by screening. And today, as I said, there is few actors interested in oats. And there is a second way we are engaged, and I think it's a new way, with a lot of opportunities. And in this way, we are in organic heterogeneous material. So thanks to the LiveSeeding project, we are engaged on wheat and lupin on OHM, but we have also a work on oats, and I would like to present you very briefly this case study. Please, next. So it's case studies with 3 actors. We are farmers, 𝐂𝐈𝐕 and 𝐀𝐁𝐿. It's another cooperative. We are engaged with Cereco, which is transformers, processors, and also a breeder, which is d'une grainozone. And with a strong relationship between us, we are going to try to make a breeding selection on oats. And next, I think here you can see how we are going to process, and we process. So we developed high genetic diversity into oat by multiplication the accession available in GenBank. We create a lot of diversified population based on the characteristics. And now we are going to multiply this population and to test them in order to see if they connect, they assess the outlets. This type of methods take time, and we need to be very aware on cooperation between each actors. And that's open large rounds of possibilities, and particularly to find the on-farm condition, to take into account on-farm condition, which is important in organic. Next, please. To summarize these new methods, it's an innovative breeding, and for us, it's very important to explore neglected genetic resource, so promoting genetic diversity. These type of methods are handcrafting and custom made, so quite simple, and of course biotech free. So it's very engaged for the farmers, and also farmers empowerment on seeds. And yeah, I think it's a good way to challenge the way of farming for the future. Next, please. Sorry, it's there is something wrong in this slide, but it was the last one on the the perspective and challenges for us as a farmer and also as seeds supplier. I think we have to challenge the climate change and the variability. So we need to breed something stable in the time, and it's opening the new way of breeding. Today, there is a big gap in breeding for secondary or orphan crops. In organic farming in France, it's okay to get wheat supply, but it's difficult for the other crops. And we are asking how to attract breeder because it's low economical markets. And we are sure that creating new partnerships on organic seeds could be a big opportunity. So I am very happy to be here and to see what's happened in other countries today. It's a good opportunity for me. I think in these for organic market seeds, there is a need for pedagogy to involve farmers of what is organic breeding and involve also consumers for explaining what we are doing in organic breeding seeds. For me, to finish, the seeds is a driver of autonomy for us and independence for our farm, but also for food network and sustainability. And of course, we need support of policy public in order to increase our consumptions, organic consumptions, and also organic seeds sector. Thank you, and sorry for the technical problem.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. I think we are almost again back in time. We're just like 4 minutes delayed. It's perfect. Thank you very much. Now we can continue. And the 3 last presentations were mainly, let's say, comparable, not very small, but medium-sized or small companies or organizations and cooperatives. We now dive into larger companies, DLF, with grasses and clover in Denmark, and after that Vitalis from the Netherlands or from Germany, ENSA. This is the company in Germany. Melanie will talk about pumpkin and corn salad, and after that �𝐄𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆 Bram will present the company 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿 and their work on carrots and onion in the Netherlands. So we will continue now with Alain Godfredsen and Ulrich Olsen from Denmark.
Yes, exactly. Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
You can hear me? That's nice. I will share my screen. Second. And you see my slides, right?
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope it's not delayed. My name is Ulrich Bay Olsen, and I'm a field advisor at DLF in Denmark. And on my side, I have Alain Godfredsen, which is a sales consultant working both with the conventional seeds as well as the organic seeds. So we are prepared in both production and sales right now. DLF is quite used, one of the leading companies in seed and clover for turf and for forage, of course. And we have, of course, a big research and development in our company to make sustainable solutions for the greener future. That was just a little introduction. It's important to mention that we are not as many other companies. We are owned by the Danish farmers, we call them growers. So 2,500 Danish growers actually own us as a company, and about 100 of them is organic. So that's just a nice little note why, who we are and who we are owned by. We are allocated all over the world in business units, and what's important to mention here that almost the full organic program of production is placed in Denmark, almost, and 2/3 of the organic production is exported to other countries, and 1/3 of our organic production of seeds is used in Denmark for the Danish sales. And for us, it's of course, like anybody else, it's a big time issue when we need to make new varieties. 16 years from we start to develop a new variety of a species to we actually can get it out on the market. So we need a lot of time to make this changing if in the needs, if there's changed needs in the future, just to be assured that we can support the market. Then we look a little bit into how do we produce the organic seeds, and we actually go a lot after the pull. We only produce the organic seeds if there is demand, if we have some orders from customers, and that's of course export, as I mentioned, and from the sale from Denmark. And we are of course a little bit delayed because we normally seed the grass seed and clover seed the year before harvest, so we will be a little delayed in order to supply the seeds for the customer. And therefore it's also important that if you need organic seed, they should prepare a little bit ahead in order to we can supply it. That's the main way we do it in DLF. But of course there's also some pushes. We have a lot of focus on green solution, optimize yield, looking disease resistance, and of course also include the forage quality of our seeds and solutions we supply. And Denmark, specifically like EU, we have this ambition from the policy that 21% organic in 2030, and that's a double of our area. Also, they need a double up in demand and export, of course. But in general, in Denmark, there's a requirement to use 100% organic seed, but as we already have been discussed, organic seed can maybe be used for check-up if there's available seeds. And exactly the availability of new species organic, that's, as I showed before in the previous slide, it's a long-term planning because we need a long-term sales overview to go into a new species for beginning that travel, what's to say, because small species is probably giving low sales, and that's difficult to manage. Seed multiplication in Denmark works with, we make contracts with the seed growers, with the farmers. They do all the stuff. We support the seeds, of course, the basic seed, and the farmer will do all the stuff in the field. And then we of course buy the seeds and make sure that it goes the best way it could for both parts. The species we actually work with right now is of course a lot of the grasses, perennial raygrass, red fescue, crocfoot, and so on. And most interesting maybe be that we have started up Lucerne alfalfa as a pretty new production in Denmark. And this year we also go into crimson clover and see if that is an opportunity to produce organic in Denmark. So we are going and looking into some new species in this couple of years. But otherwise we have all the normal, to say, forage species. It's 99% for forage, feeding production organic, not so much for turf. If we look at what happened the last couple of years in the area, seeding area for grass and clover legumes, also include Lucerne alfalfa, And if we can see that from 2016 up to 2020, there's a big increase in area, doubling or more. But we have some good yields in 2021 and 2022, and with Corona and all that, that leads to a lot of stock in the market and reduced demands as well. And therefore, their area has dropped a lot the last 2-3 years, which of course is an issue. But of course, the 30% wish, 25% wish for organic will probably make the curve changing a little bit up and again if that actually the market wants to support for the feeding. In the field, of course, we have some issues. In Denmark, the grasses is using a lot of fertilizer, nitrogen, and that could be an issue to find in the organic farms, especially some places where the biogas plants is not developed yet. And also we have from a possibility for the farmers to get subsidies, some extra subsidies for reducing their nitrogen use on the farm level, and that from many perspectives will have an issue to fertilize the grasses optimum for yield, for good yield. And of course we have weed problems, which can be challenging for production of especially clover and some of the grasses. And yeah, the price difference between the conventional seeds and organic seeds is probably a little too low because the yield is often 48% of the conventional. So we have a little issue that the price difference is maybe too low between the organic and conventional seeds right now. What are the challenges on the in our perspective? That's, as we also have seen, the dispensation to use conventional seed is limited. The way we want the organic to be produced. If they get dispensation, that will make some issues for the organic production. Also, the 70-30% conventional mixture is an issue because then all the expensive species will not be produced because they are allowed to use 30% conventional seed in some mixtures. And that can be an issue for the organic production of some of the small species and expensive species. And again, the price difference also in the market is too little. So there's a little gap between the prices. And finally, I would say DLF, we in Denmark support 100% organic seed. So we also work with that agenda to support the seed. It's organic. That's a small but a fast presentation. And here we see a bumblebee pollinate a red clover. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much on time. Thank you very much for this presentation. So we can see that you're active in many crops, and the price difference, I think this is something that is mentioned several times. And of course, the risk of production. I think these are the two main things we take from your presentation. Maybe I take from your presentation. And I think we have 2 minutes for a question, or we have the question at the end. So if you have further questions to DLF, please put them into the chat. We can also ask them at the end. Also, if you have questions for the previous presentations, and I can see that there's one question from Linda to César González. I think we will have time at the end of this presentations. I think we will go on with Melanie Molnar from ENSA Germany. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Perfect.
So, next big question. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Splendid.
It's already like a bit like winter. No.
Yeah, so also from me, a warm welcome to everyone, and thank you, Freya, for inviting me to that setup. I think it's a great opportunity also to speak from a supplier's perspective, because usually we focus in those discussions about breeding. So I'm Melanie Mona. I'm the product manager at Vitalis Ensa for Organic in West Europe. And briefly about Vitalis. So it was founded 1994 by Jan Velema, a passionate organic vegetable breeder. And in 1998, it became a joint venture with Ensa, so the organic division of Ensa. By now, it is a full member of the Ensa family. We're breeding for the organic markets, for the vegetable market, of course, and we have a multi-local approach. So you will find us not only in Europe, but also, for example, in the US market. And by now we have more than 30 years of expertise, because we had our anniversary last year. And we are now active in about 25 crops with about 400 varieties globally. Shortly about the market from a supplier's perspective. Of course, what we already heard several times, we have the European legal framework, we have the organic regulations, where also the phase out of derogation is mentioned. We have different levels of organic seed use within Europe. We have countries where the seed use is very high, but also other countries where the seed use is quite limited for various reasons. We also see a shift in the growers. So we see the surface at grower side is increasing. It becomes more professional. And we also see an increased level of mechanization. So that is also we have to take into account. I think a very special thing about organic vegetable production is that the countries that are producing organic vegetables are not necessarily the countries where it's consumed. So we have a high consumption of organic in northern and mid-European countries like Denmark and Germany. But if we look, for example, to fruity crops, 90% of the tomatoes we are consuming organically in Germany coming from Spain. So we have very long transport routes depending on the crop. So that brings me a little bit to the requirements the growers have towards us, the seed producers. And of course, we have, in a nutshell, a variety of breeding and development. So the request is to have the latest resistance packages. We need a good taste and, as mentioned, a sufficient shelf life for the crop, especially if the transport is very long. If the crop is meant for large retailers, we need a high level of uniformity of the crop. And of course, the varieties have to be adapted to local environment conditions. So a variety that works in southern Spain will not work in North Germany and vice versa. But, and this is what I want to emphasize on now, is we have much more than just the breeding, which I usually focus on. So we have also a huge part in seed production. Then we need to clean. And there is one big importance here. If we compare conventional and organic qualities, they have to be pretty much the same by now. So a lower quality in germination or less rigorous seeds are not accepted by organic growers as we see it. And of course, and this has been mentioned also in some presentations, we have the packaging and the storing. So you need extra lines for cleaning, you need extra facilities for storage, and then of course it will be distributed to the farmers. So let's focus a little bit more on seed production and seed cleaning. And as you can see here, you already need a lot of space for it. We need a sufficient organic surface for our production. We also need safety distances to avoid cross-contamination and to reduce disease pressure of neighboring fields because the crops might be similar. We have, of course, the climatic change we need to take into account. So sometimes we need to find new locations if current areas became unsuitable. And we also have to face the weather extremes, especially if we have those open field productions. So those weather extremes can lead to a bad seed set from the beginning or to a crop failure if it rains too heavy at certain amounts. What we also see is an increase of certification costs and increased administrative burden, especially if seeds cross country borders. We see also the increased labor costs, and I think that has been mentioned also in other by other colleagues here, compared to conventional production. So it is more hand labor required. And we see from a grower side a higher demand for seed enhancement, grading, but also packaging. So coming to seed production in 2 examples, I want to start with an example where we see good feasibility at the moment. So that is pumpkin. It's a large crop all over Europe, and I think a lot of you eat pumpkin. And as you can see, the seeds ripen in the fruit. So you have almost no issues with soil-borne diseases because the seeds are very well protected. You have no contamination with weeds because you just have to harvest the pumpkin, cut it open, and take out the seeds. You have, of course, increased hand labor compared to conventional production. Yeah, the seeds are already quite well ripe and preserved in the fruit. So if we think of 2037, the production costs compared to conventional are manageable, and that means there's also a high acceptance from growers. The bigger the price range, then usually growers are hesitating. But for pumpkin, this is quite manageable, and it's quite easily to scale up for us if the demand increases, if we have to phase out of derogation, because we already have for pumpkin locations in southern and northern hemisphere to have different production locations to secure the production and have multiple harvest options. So that is a quite positive crop. And let's challenges to the other extreme. So that is corn salad. It's a very small crop in Europe, mainly eaten in France, Italy, and in Germany. It's also produced in open fields. It's planted in autumn and then harvested late spring, early summer. So we see already here we have some issues because both dates can be very risky. It can be usually wet, chilly, and dark. So you can have a lot of rain into that crop, which gives a very high risk of diseases like downy mildew or like FOMA. And of course, it's a very open crop, so we have a lot of weeding and therefore hand labor costs for weeding. And if you look here on the seed set of corn salad, you can see the seeds are ripening in very different stages. You have already full ripe seed, you have still green ones, and some of them are already falling out. So you need to invest in a lot of knowledge in that case to find the best harvest moment, which makes it difficult. You also have to sort out too small or too big seeds because not every caliber is suitable for growers. That also gives very high costs in the end for cleaning. So we have the weed contamination that have to be cleaned out and calibration processes here. So this makes it a very costly production and also to the weather condition a very risky one. You can say the production costs are minimum double than to compare to conventional. We have a very high risk of crop failure. So from our side, we focus on research to seed propagation to reduce the crop failures and make it more feasible. But here we see a very high risk crop to reach the phase out of derogations. Maybe as a small outlook. So we see as a seed supplier the growing demand for organic seeds, and we're very happy about it. And we also invest tremendously in the future. So we invest in new locations for production and processing. That is in 𝐀𝐿𝐻𝐿 in the Netherlands. But we also have new facilities for seed enhancement, for storage. We work on production protocols to secure the organic production and also make it more feasible. Nevertheless, I can say what we need from a supplier's perspective, we need planning security. So also we have to work with the market, and we support the drive for organic seed use, and also we know how it's organized in many countries with the expert group, where we make processes to phase out derogation, and I think we can work very well with that. One point I would like to emphasize is that if we have to phase out of derogations, from a grower's perspective, there must be a safety net in case we have crop failures, not only us as a company, but also our fellow companies who provide organic seeds, or if we have a breakthrough in resistances suddenly appearing, so that the organic producers are not be left alone and have to stick to maybe varieties which are not suitable at the moment. So in that case, I would say thank you. I hope I stayed in time. And I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, Melanie. Yes, you stayed in time. Very great. Thank you. There's one question directly from Stefan Döblin, and there's a second hand raised. Stefan is asking, where do you multiply the corn salad? I think in which country or which region?
I cannot answer this from top of my head, to be honest, because I work in so many crops. I really have to dig into that, but maybe you can answer that later if I ask the specific colleague.
Okay, thank you very much. We will send out the slides, and maybe we can add this information, to the slides. Yeah. There was a hand raised, but then it disappeared once again. No. Okay. So feel free to. Oh yeah, Jean-Pierre Brunier. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I'm Jean-Pierre Brunier. I'm in charge for the seed production at Sativa, organic seeds in Switzerland. And in our scale, we did make some experience with the multiplication and seed production of corn salad. And since a couple of years, we are working together with some partner in France to develop the market. I can confirm what Melanie said. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to develop this crop, X-gen crop for the organic market with organic seeds. But I wanted to point out that the production is a point. It's a big challenge, but the processing of the seeds and first of all the disinfection of the seeds are in our eyes the biggest challenge to maybe hope to get a breakthrough in this matter, because every crop bring the specific question and specific challenge, and so we would appreciate a lot if in this organization we could get a support also to find a better dialogue with the authorities to discuss about the possibility of new disinfections middles. For instance, for 𝐀𝐁𝐿 salad, because it could help a lot to improve the disponibility and the availability of this seeds.
Okay, thank you very much. So the comment was in the direction also towards the Commission to maybe have a look at the organic regulation, which are ingredients or substances or methods are possible for seed cleaning and seed treatments for disinfection, especially for the corn salad. Is it correct, Jean-Pierre?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. We will take this into our report. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Melanie. I think we are still very good in time. Thank you very much. Bram, I don't know, we received your presentation. Do you share your own, or shall we share your presentation?
I'll try to start, but maybe you want to take it from there, Freya? You don't see my presentation?
Yeah, I received it. Kaya, can you share?
Oh, there it is.
Perfect. Okay, great.
Right. Thank you for the invitation, Freya. I will try to be brief as well. 10 minutes we were given is a short time. My name is Bram Eiland. I'm an organic program coordinator at EuroSeeds. Next slide, please. I will go through an introduction of EuroSeeds, then a little bit about importance of a seed program, and then more focusing on understanding seed production. I was asked also to give more the challenges and the needs that we face in organic seed production, and then specifically for carrots and onions. Then I give a little outlook on developing of a solution for production, and finally about the production scale-up, the challenges, needs that we see that need to be done. On the next slide, I will EuroSeeds. Now, most of you will probably know it's a company based in the Netherlands, in 𝐂𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐆. We're focusing mainly on biennial open field crops, but increasingly also on some annual crops, as in the leafy and in the fruit crops, but most of you will know is from the biennial open field crops. We are a company with 2,200 employees at the moment. With conventional, we have 40 plus crops, 1,000 varieties, and in our organic program, which we started in 1995, 30 years ago, we have 35 crops and 170 varieties. So that's about 15% of the conventional program. And then we, as a company, we focus on breeding, production, and sales of our varieties throughout the whole world, depending on climate zones, obviously. On the next slide. We are a breeder of vegetable seeds focusing on the professional grower, and that demands high quality and latest varieties. We are therefore together for the long term, and that has to do also with the perspective of the breeding time that we need to develop a new variety, which is still roughly at 10 years from start to first introductions. And we are raising the bar with innovations, not only in genetics and resistances, but also in seed treatments, especially also suited for organic. We have developed different seed cleaning and seed treatment innovations that are now widely used in conventional, but were first initiated for organic seed. Harvesting now and 50 years from now is also a reference to that we are a family-owned company. We are not here for the short run, but we are trying to focus with an outlook of long term, say 50 years. And then we provide the best quality seed and the best varieties also for our organic program. On the next slide. So the importance of an organic seed program as we see it is that we need to fulfill, first of all, the consumer expectation, who is obviously expecting that the vegetable, the fruit, or the other crops that he buys are all originating from organic seed. Most and often enough at the moment that is not the case. It is further, the seed program is a cornerstone for sustainable seed production innovations, delivering the best varieties suited for organic production. Need to be tested, those varieties, at the earliest possible stage. That is what we call, right from the start, organic breeding, as we do it. Then we have a pioneer for seed treatment innovations that also benefit the conventional program. I referred to that earlier also briefly, but in the past we developed hot water treatments and steam vacuum treatments that are now widely used, but they were bred from the organic program where we started with our own seed treatment methods. And we have this program for 30 years at the moment. Next slide, please. So as I'm now going to a little bit more in details for seed production and challenges in seed production, first of all, we have to understand that Bayer is a company focusing mainly on biennial crops. The biennial crops, and here the example is carrot, but the same for onion, which is then the other example in this presentation. It's in the first year you grow a bulb or a root, as is shown here. And in the second year, you plant that root or that bulb, and that results in a flower from which you harvest the seed. But we should not forget that if the first year is a challenge, disease-wise or climate change, weather-wise, and if either in quality or in quantity, that automatically that will be reflected in the production for the second year. So we've seen also in last year where there was maybe a shortage in seed for red onion. It was a result of the production in the first year, which was problematic. So this is what we take into consideration with most of our crops when we talk about the challenges. On the next slide, please. Then also for better understanding, this is mainly about the umbelliferae, but in this example, the carrot, the crop vulnerability is that it is the umbel is standing in the field open, very accessible to all insects to fly in. It doesn't have a shell like in the brassicas. So the yield loss from embryo damaging bugs here, the EDB, which is, for instance, Lycus or Ortops, is very, it's very easy access for those insects. So it could be problematic, which means that we need to, when we select for a field, that we need to have special attention for this problem. In the pictures below, you see how just the embryo is eaten out of the seed at a ripening stage. If you then consider the previous slide where you have the first and the second year, and the second year where is flowering, from July, August, September, then also the cycle of these embryo damaging bugs is also in the same months, resulting into one of the biggest challenges that we have in organic seed production. Next slide, please. So to summarize this example for carrots, first of all, we need to have suited isolations. So we cannot have wild carrots in the neighborhood. We need to be in the right climate zone at the right latitude. We have a cross-contamination risk, especially in countries like US. As example, last year we had contamination of apple orchard, which was using a fogger almost 2 kilometers away from our production, still resulted in residue in our crop 2 kilometers away. And then last, but certainly not least of all, you need also then to find experienced organic farmers who can make this a success. Then below, I've already mentioned the embryo damaging bugs. Then you need to incorporate that in your production strategy. And at the end, you still need to produce the high quality standards that are going to be of service to our clients, to the farmers that are going to use those seeds. And if you have lower usable seed ratio, that is often a result of these infestations with insects or other diseases that you may find. Next slide, please. Similar on the onion, but then a bit different. In the onion, we are quite successful in seed production. We've really scaled up organic seed production also in the past. And for that, there's pressure on finding suitable isolations also in onion, but so far we manage. We also need to we learned more risk spreading because of climate change, meaning that if you have found a good climate zone, then still you need to move away from it because of risk spreading. In these same climate zones, you might have the same weather conditions at certain times. So we have to do more risk spreading. And in the first year bulb quality, you need to have the downy mildew resistance already in the parent lines, as well the male and the female, to give some assurance for successful seed production. Next slide, please. So as a little outlook, to develop a solution, but also to see the intensity of organic seed production in the open field crops. This is an example, and it has too much information on the slide, but just focus in the middle. We have this trial with carrots, and next to it a flower mix, and then the alfalfa, the lucerne. So we have the seed crop, the carrots, and then we have a crop where we mainly raise predators in the flower mix. And then we have a lucerne crop next to it. And the lucerne is for these EDB, these embryo damaging bugs, the preferred crop. So in this, you would hope for these bugs to move from the carrots into the lucerne. And then you hope at the same time that you've raised enough predators in the flower mix. And there's some statistics on the left, but so far in the first trials that we've seen, we are quite successful with this strategy. But what I'd like to mention here also is that what it means for usable acreage. That in this example, it's almost 50% is not carrots in this crop. It is flower mix and lucerne. This might not be always the case in commercial production, but for consideration, yes. If we want to have successful carrot production in the open, we have this we need to have these isolations that I mentioned before, but also still bigger areas than in conventional. And in this example, even 50%. But I would always think that 20% extra acreage would be very realistic as an expectation. Next slide. So to summarize the challenges, also for the program, what we feel in general is that for compulsory 100% organic seed use by 2037, end of 2036, is losing momentum because one reason is, yes, for seed companies, despite the higher price, the profitability of conventional seeds is still better. Now, I've shown some examples where you can imagine what the production cost would be for organic. There we see some increasing resistance from growers because they're used to conventional seeds for such a long time already, and the whole market balance is balanced around these seed price. If you go to open field crops as typical the bio crops, the seed rate per hectare is usually a lot higher than in many of the other crops, especially compared to fruit crops, for instance, or crops that go through a plant raiser. Then, yeah, it requires heavy investments. Also in research, we have a seed production research department that's also especially they're helping out on organic innovations. We've noticed in the past 30 years that it's a long and only gradual increasing learning curve to make these seed production a success. And then, yeah, at the end, the final implementation is to some extent still uncertain because there is still in the regulation an option that we're going to reflect at the end if it is possible or not to come to 100% organic seed. Then the next slide. So the needs, well, as we see it for organic production scale-up, we need to have clear directive. Of course, it's been written down, but it is not written in concrete yet. Is this going to happen? Towards this 2037, we need to gradually phase out these derogations in a clear way that is measurable with crop-specific intermediate derogation targets. We could even say, if we look at carrots, we have still different type of carrots for different climate ranges. We have the Northwest Europe, but we also have continental carrots. Even that could, as my suggestion, be crops with different derogation targets. Similar for the onions, we have the very long day, we have the long day onions, we have the red and the yellow. To me, onion is then still a very broad crop, and maybe we should also consider being more specific in the intermediate derogation targets. And with intermediate, I mean, what about halfway? We already, 37 is around the door. So where do we want to be in 4 years' time? And can we measure this? And then we have, of course, they should be monitored and reported. And there should be some assurance that this is going to be enforced, that to give if you consider the long-term investment that this requires, then we also need some assurance that this is really and actually going to happen in 2037. But in the mean, let me not be negative. I don't want to be negative at all. We are actually quite positive, but we're investing a lot. And we are seeing also good progress. But we also realize that it requires a lot from companies. And therefore, I'd like to go to the last slide. We believe as Bayer that, yes, we could do it, but we need all the points answered that I mentioned in the previous slides. Thank you very much. This was my presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the very clear words, and I think this is a very nice end of our perspectives of the different actors. Of course, it's not covering not all crops and all actors across Europe, but it's a glimpse, and I think this is a very nice starting for a discussion. Thank you very much.